Good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending the Capstone presentations this year. I'm Marina, and this is Wei Hung and Shelley, and we're excited to kick off by introducing Podium. So it's actually fitting that the public speaking team is starting off on the day full of presentations. And before we begin, I'd like to ask everyone to do just a little self-reflection. I'd like for you all to think about a time recently where you were nervous about speaking. You know, maybe it was that feeling of your stomach churning, or your heart rate beating like a drum, or that feeling of having dozens of eyes just glued on you, kind of like right now. For you, it might have been a class presentation, or a discussion seminar, a job interview, wedding speech, conference talk, or maybe you're just getting into stand-up comedy. It's funny, the term public speaking is rather vague and can even be a bit alienating. It surprised us to learn that many of the people we spoke with don't consider themselves public speakers. Yet, when shown some of the examples you all just saw, they'll often nod along and have one of those aha moments. Which is why we prefer the term communication, because that's ultimately what this project is about, being a confident and effective oral communicator. We know that oral communication is an important and transferable skill, yet only 28% of employers in the US feel like new recruits have these skills upon entering the workforce. And even in a university setting like UW, public speaking can be hard to study due to time and space constraints. Which is why we set out to answer this question. How might we enhance the learning of speech skills through an interactive and personalized approach? And quickly we learned that one of the key links to learning those speech skills is preparation. In fact, we had 3 big discoveries in our exploration of the topic. First is preparing for a speech is different from writing an essay or report. Speaking, unlike writing, is an inherently social form of communication. Second, it demands a unique workflow, and the order in which you do things in that prep process matter. For instance, you wouldn't start making a slide deck before forming your point of view. And finally, there really are no shortcuts to learning public speaking. It requires sustained practice, and there isn't that one special trick like many out there claim.
So we knew that in order to build an effective speech preparation tool, we had to do something differently. We studied the competition and found that most tools fall into one of these 3 categories. First, inaccessible. Of course, everybody can take the public speaking course here at UW for a very small fee. Second, too narrow in focus. For example, paid apps that are just fancy timers. Or third, too general. Speaking is very personal, so learning tools need to help people identify their unique strengths and weaknesses. We wanted to go beyond all these and create a tool that is approachable, comprehensive, and personalized. We're calling this tool Podium, and we'd like to show it to you in action.
Remember the last time you had to give a speech? How did you prepare? Did you struggle to come up with something you could get excited about?
I also think that you should strongly urge or consider the benefits of this product.
How did you practice?
Yeah, one of the benefits of recycling is that they don't have to use as many natural resources.
Did the mirror tell you how to improve?
So one of the benefits of recycling is that it helps companies save lots of energy.
And how was the feedback you got from friends?
The smartest animal on the planet. So how did I do? It was great.
Yeah, that was really good.
That's it?
It didn't work out so well, did it? Thankfully, you can now use Podium. Prepare the right way. Podium's outlining tool helps you create a compelling structure for your speech. Write down your main points and rearrange them with ease. Make the most out of those solo practice sessions. Keep track of what's happening. Podium analyzes your vocal qualities and provides suggestions, helping you improve your speaking over time. And Podium's convenient feedback tool lets you get feedback from anyone, anywhere. Your reviewers can react in line while watching your video. They can also provide in-depth feedback and answer the questions you care about. So the next time you step up to the podium, do it with confidence.
So to learn more about the challenges that people have with speech preparation, we interviewed 10 students, a mix of graduate student, undergraduate student, and graduate student here at UW, as well as a few experts in the field of public speaking. And we identified 3 major issues. First, structuring a speech can be very difficult. Many of our participants feel like they weren't engaging their audiences very well, but they didn't know why or how to improve it. They also complained that using storytelling skills requires creativity and can also be time-consuming. Second, good practice is more than memorizing a script. One of our subject matter experts told us that practice makes perfect is good. But along with the practice, you need to be deliberate about how you use that prep time and reflective on the practice. Third, those close to you don't give you the best feedback. One of our participants talked about her experience of practicing in front of her mom, only to hear feedback like, "Wow, your speech was so beautiful."
Great, so now that you have a good understanding of those 3 problems, let's deep dive into how Podium can help you become a confident speaker. Podium is a web application with 3 main features: outline, practice mode, and a feedback tool. Each of these features map directly to 3 key steps in the speech prep workflow, and these are the areas we identified we could have the most impact on after understanding our users' pain points. First, the outline. The outline is both a learning tool for structure and a canvas. It can help beginners understand effective structure techniques by generating a customized outline based on the type of speech you're giving and providing them personalized tips as they write. The design of the outline is meant to be as customizable and flexible as possible to accommodate for different levels of use. Our design even brings back the familiar feel of using note cards, and you can easily rearrange different parts of your speech. We also designed a planning wizard to help you plan your speech step by step by asking a few important questions. What kind of speech are you trying to give? What's your message? Who is your audience? Answering these types of questions helps lay a solid foundation for any speech. Next, practice mode. One of the most effective ways to practice speaking is to watch yourself on video. In our testing, we found out that first writing the structure and then using video to record your full practice fits naturally into the workflow of our participants. With Podium, you can not only watch yourself speak, you can also make precise refinements to your speaking style by analyzing and reflecting on your pitch, pacing, clarity, and filler words. This feature is great for advanced speakers who already record themselves, but can definitely get beginners into the habit of recording. Lastly, no matter the experience level, public speaking is a social activity. That's why it's beneficial to practice in front of real people. We know from our research that people already practice in front of their friends and family, but rarely do they get substantial feedback. With Podium, you can get feedback in 2 ways. First, Podium will suggest questions you can ask based on the type of speech you're giving. Second, reviewers can leave inline feedback in the form of emojis for you to view, making this experience fun and easy for both sides.
And that brings us to where we are now. In the past 7 weeks, we've made some very tough decisions about the minimum set of features that are necessary to make this tool successful, which means there's still room for Podium to grow. Therefore, in the future, we'd like to seek for guidance from experts regarding the creation of new content and new features. For example, first, integration with software for making slides and presentations. Second, quick challenges for learning even if there's no speech to give. Third, features for group presentations. And lastly, the ability to import any video for voice analysis. In addition to all these, one of our future goals is a mobile companion app for Podium, which is optimized for practice on the go. How might we use Podium on the last day of the speech, especially in those final moments?
Okay, and that's it, everyone. Before we get into Q&A, we'd just like to quickly thank our sponsor, Olin Ronning from 10,000 Feet, for all of his mentorship, as well as the entire MHCAD cohort and our instructors for all their feedback and support. Thanks for your attention. We can now take a few questions.